Welcome back to Friend Crush. I'm your host, Amber Aquila. This is my podcast where I talk about stuff and things, cute, chaotic, and critical thinking. You can follow me on all of the things at Amber Aquila and follow the Instagram meme page at friend.crush. Love to receive your thoughts and feelings, feedback, etc. Today is another Girl Confessions episode. We have a very special guest, Seven from Yunnan, China, and based in Canada, Montreal, Canada. She works as a DJ, chef, creative, community leader, very iconic, crazy, actually, the way that we connected, like during COVID, I guess. We've been internet friends for ages. And then I was coming back to China and I posted that I was in Kunming where I was going to be quarantining. And then she told me that, oh, she has a friend that's in Kunming and she's from Kunming. And then connected me with our now mutual friend who was also coming back to Shanghai. And then finally we met last year in Shanghai. And Seven just randomly was telling me like 3 a.m. in the cab on the way home from the club that she's been married and like this whole thing. So we must do a podcast episode. I said, finally, we've managed to arrange. Please welcome Seven to Friend Crush. Hi, Seven.
Hello. Hi, Amber. Thank you for having me.
How
Super
are
excited for
you?
this.
Thank you so much
I'm
for being on the
good.
show. Do you want to introduce yourself? You have the floor.
No, I think you did a pretty good job. I never actually said those titles out of my mouth.
You're just a
But
woman of
yeah,
many talents, so it
thank
can be
you.
hard to
Yeah,
define.
I just did a food pop-up for Yuan Xiaojie. That was awesome too.
Oh, nice. End of Chinese New Year festival.
Yeah, the last day of Chinese New Year. Do
Mm-hmm.
you feel uncomfortable when you don't want to start a debate of Lunar New Year and Chinese New Year, so I just said the New Year.
Right. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like people can just say whatever they want, celebrate however they want. I guess there's an issue when companies are trying to like make money off of Chinese New Year / Lunar New Year without any like real engagement. I feel like that's the thing that can be the most maybe irresponsible, but then people kind of project it onto like all applications of Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year or Korean. It's like, okay, we'll just relax. That's the benefit
Yeah,
of being
I
in China.
agree.
Like I just don't have, it's just 新年好.
Yeah, exactly.
Spring Festival, happy Spring Festival.
Yeah, when did the Spring Festival go? Like it wasn't the same before. Anyways,
Yeah.
um, okay, I'm just gonna start with how did we meet and
Mm-hmm.
how did I divorce him? I guess that's
Mm-hmm.
the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was not 18 years old yet, but I ran away from home, was
Mm-hmm.
hiding in this tourist town called Dali. I don't know if you heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they call it California back then. It was like super
Mm-hmm.
chill.
Mm-hmm.
People smoke weed there, which was like
Mm.
really unusual spot in China, and a lot of backpacker from all over the world will go there.
Mm.
So I was working at a cafe, and one day I just saw this pair of shoes walk past me. I was like, that's some air dunk I wanted. And then I just checked him out.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, he's cute. And that was just like first time I saw him. I didn't know who
Mm.
he was. And then later of the night after I have dinner with my friend, I walked past by my friend's hostel and I saw him sitting in there. I
Mm.
was like, okay, I have to go in to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
I walk into the door and my friend who worked behind the bar is like, Seven, you have to meet this guy. He's from Canada. Don't you aren't you going to Canada for university soon? And then I was like, okay. Then I would sit down and he told me he's from Montreal. I had no
Mm-hmm.
idea what Montreal was, just speaking French and it's super cold. Sorry, my cat is meowing. So so that's how we met. And I guess it's kind of like a falling in love in first sight. He walked
Mm-hmm.
me home the night after we went to same concert, and then he said he's going to Tibet for a week. Like that's already scheduled, and I gave him my email. So we just communicate by email, and the 3 days he didn't respond. I was like, he's dead. He's dead in the mountain. There's some
Mm-hmm.
like storm or whatever ate him away.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I was worried, even like the short term of communication, I really liked him, a Virgo man,
Mm.
very considerate, blah
Mm.
blah. And the 3 days later, he wrote me back, says that they got lost in the mountain, but he was thinking about me. Da da da. I was like, okay, why don't you come to Dali and live with me for your rest of your trip?
Mm.
And then he did, and we fell in love really fast. And then we start this 5 years of long distance relationship
What?
where yeah, exactly. It started really fast, and then he stayed there almost like 3 to 4 months with me. We just go around, and we went to Thailand for a short trip, and then this become our pattern. He came back to Canada to work for a while, and then he has like a little bit longer vacation, and he will come to China almost every year. So we'll
Mm-hmm.
go travel somewhere. My dad does not want me go to Canada at all. For some reason, he thinks Canada isn't posh enough. So I applied for the school in Canada for like 3 times. I got accepted, but there is like this bank statement I need. I don't have like 250K
Mm.
RMB in my bank account. So I asked my dad, I just need this amount in my bank, and I print it out and I submit it as a paper. Then I can give him back the money. Like nothing happened, but he just resists, like, no, I can work something yourself. So that was
Mm.
like a struggle for almost like 2 years. I we're on the edge of giving up because it's like really hard for me to come to Canada in other way beside a student visa.
Mm.
Then one day we're just on the phone. He just goes like, I guess we could get married. And they're like, are you sure? Like, but this just for the paperwork, right? And they said, yeah, just for the paperwork. We will see after you come here, everything's settled. We just need you get out of there. So he said, okay, I'm gonna go talk to my parents. And 2 days later, he called me back and said, I booked my flight on 8th of January, blah, blah, blah. Let's get the paperwork down
Mm.
and let's get married. Then
Wow. How old are
that's
you?
how I was 21, just literally legal age of getting
Drinking
married in
age.
China.
Oh,
Drinking age and legal age of getting married. I think still 21 is the legal age of getting married in China right now.
yeah.
So he flew in 3 days. We got the paperwork down, got a photo taken, and then he left. And then we just start working on my visa to come to Canada. So yeah, that's the previously what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I did shorten up a lot, like how on view of like why my dad is like this, because he is a control freak who trying
Mm-hmm.
to manipulate my whole life. He is
Mm.
triple Virgo, Sun Virgo, Virgo rising, Moon Virgo,
Wow.
and my ex-husband is also Virgo. I never realized I have this in me, but like my past three partners, they're all Virgo. It must be something in it to me. So like I'm trying to discover a good side of a Virgo.
Mm. What's your star
I don't
sign?
know. I'm a Pisces with a Scorpio rising
Wow.
and Gemini moon. I'm also kind of like messed up side. Everyone who reads my chart, they always have a frown first, and then they be like, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So then you moved to
Um,
Canada when you were 21.
yes, I came here 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the school, I missed the deadline of the fall semester, so I came here in June. I basically have almost like 6 months of free time waiting for the winter semester start.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a city speak French only, and it's my first time like a move abroad somewhere. So it
Mm.
was very scary. So
Mm.
I become very clingy to my ex-husband. I call
Mm.
him 3 times a day. As long as I step out the door, I got lost. I call him what I do.
Mm.
Um,
Did you live
s-
together?
yeah, we lived together.
Mm.
We were on the process of buying a condo together because I worked a lot when I was in China, saved up. And the plan is come here and then we buy a property together until I graduate and then we sell it and then we buy a house. I made a
Wow.
5 years plan with him, which
Mm-hmm.
I never ever will do again. um, but during living together, I discovered there's a trait where I find he kind of manipulate me like how my dad did. So
Mm.
I had this exchange benefit relationship with my dad. He will offer me something I want, but in return, I have to do something he want me to do. For example, get like top 3 in the class or in the grade.
Mm.
Then he will give me like PlayStation I wanted. But then the second time I wanted something better, then he will give me. But if I didn't match the like the request that he asked, for example, last time it was only need to be top 10, then this time
Mm.
I need to be top 5. If I
Mm.
failed to be top 5, he will take back my reward from the first time too. So it's like a
What?
gamble,
Mm.
like all in or nothing, you know?
Mm.
Um, so when I moved here, I gave all my saving to my ex-husband because I wasn't working. So I said, this is my contributing to our family.
Mm.
But like I wasn't working yet, so he gave me kind of like allowance
Mm-hmm.
daily. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like I was a child. I need to check my bank account before I go buy a pack of cigarette. He will send me
Mm.
like $20 a day
Mm.
to buy cigarette or something I want. And I wasn't complaining because I was like, okay, he's already giving me money. Like I was okay with that until one day we go to cinema. I forgot what movie. I just really wanted popcorn that day. And with soda, the price of popcorn and soda in cinema is kind of like ridiculous. It's like
Mm.
$30. And then he said, it's so expensive. I was like, yeah, I know, but just for once, I never ask it. And he just like, no, Seven, let's just have popcorn at home. And then he just walked away. I stand there, for first time I understand the kids in the mall why they start a tantrum like lying
Mm.
on the floor. I really wanted to do that because that's how I felt. So
Mm.
I hold that anger inside of me until I apply for a credit card myself, a student credit card. I think I only got like $500 limits.
Mm.
And I went to supermarket. I bought $250 worthy of popcorn, all different kind, all different flavor, all different brand. So because I was kind of like cooking dinner for him because I wasn't doing anything. So after he came back from home, every surface you can see there's popcorn. So
Mm,
I just said, "Are you hungry? Dinner is ready." I think that just like triggered something inside me of like you are doing same shit as my dad.
mm,
So yeah, after the popcorn incident, we had the conversations like you can't control me over money. I understand you are the one earning right now, but I will eventually start working once I settle. I just moved here for 6 months. Like it's too
mm,
fast.
mm,
So that's a that's a mm, first I would say like red dot of how our relationships start to crumble like not how we expected.
mm. Was there an age gap? Like, was he older than you or?
He is 4 years older than me.
Oh, so you met when he was like 21,
20,
20, and you
yeah,
were
yeah.
16.
I was 17, but I lied. I was 18. I didn't know
Uh,
there's a thing. When he find out I wasn't even 18 yet, he was really mad. But that was
mm.
already too late. We already be together for a year.
Okay. What work was he
uh,
doing at the time? When you moved to Canada, he was working and then,
oh, he worked at the local TV station as a on-call technician.
wow.
His friend group, I would call them redneck now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like the first night I get to see their friend, they had like a welcome party to me.
Mm.
And literally there's his one of his best friend pulled me aside and asked if my dad is mafia. And then that's when I start questioning like what do you tell your friend about my family? Like, why is this the first question they ask me?
Uh-huh.
My dad is not a mafia, but like he made it sounds like I am running away from some like death or alive drama from my dad.
So you had the shift in your relationship begin after the popcorn incident.
True, true. So in January, I started school
Mm-hmm.
and I made a friends really quickly at school. So
Mm-hmm.
I start having my own social life,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually I get to know people who able to book me for DJ gigs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like in the coming summer, I was really busy, just busy socialing to start my own circle because I really like sick of hanging out with their friend. I
Mm.
play Candy Crush when they're doing mad drug just home, drinking 48 bottle of beer and watching hockey game, and they will just do drugs for that activity
Mm-hmm.
with shitty music while
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the corner play Candy Crush. I was like 2,200 something level in Candy Crush. That's kind of like a reflect of how many level I had to play through at those stupid house party.
Mm-hmm. So were your
So
friends like
yeah,
Chinese as well or like diverse mix? Because
I
he's like
couldn't.
white Canadian, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I studied communication. There wasn't like Chinese people like me move from like the international student here, they mostly study business or like
Mm.
commerce or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I made friends who are not original from Montreal, but they're like not Chinese either.
Mm-hmm.
We start hanging out more often, and then I think he start to have this like a losing control of me, so we will start fighting kind of
Mm.
because he worked 9 to 5 during the week,
Mm-hmm.
and he mostly home on weekends, and but I go out on weekends. I also have
Mm.
gigs on weekend, and that's like the time I always play at the rave, like 4 to 5 a.m. But we still do those like uh weekly thing. We always go to visit his parents on weekend, like every other week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a French exam for me because they only speak French to me most of the time, and every time I made a full sentence in French, they will like clap. They treat me like literally child.
Mm-hmm.
His parents genuinely loved me, and I felt that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was really grateful that they treat me like their own. But I think the life like this have constantly to were closed and then not closed again for like 3 years
Mm-hmm.
until I guess 2017. So I moved here for 3 years. Yeah. We had a big fight, not like before my birthday. My birthday's in March. So around
Mm-hmm.
Christmas, after all the family reunion and stuff, I we had a big fight. I can't recall what it was about, but I didn't let him later. Like we didn't have sex for
Mm.
like long times. 3 months is like probably the longest period of our relationship.
Mm.
And I didn't know how to communicate about the feeling. I basically doing
Mm.
silent treat to him. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how I learned from my grandma. Like whenever my grandma was mad at anything, she just refused to talk.
Mm.
And that's like something I'm scared the most. So I guess I was doing this to him. I couldn't like express why I was mad. I just like I'm unsatisfied of our relationship. I guess I didn't know how to communicate.
Mm.
So it led to my birthday party. I didn't even invite him because I know we're gonna have a family thing. So he didn't come to the celebration with me and my friends because
Mm.
he also worked next day. I got really, really drunk. I came back home. I just like stripped naked and I passed out. And next day he was extremely nice to me. I thought maybe this just an act of my birthday. So we had a really really good time at his sister's with his mom and everyone else. I came back home. He I was like in a really good mood. I was like, let's drink another bottle of wine. And then while he was opening the wine, he said, Seven, I have to tell you something. Can you not be mad at me? And then my first reaction is like, what now?
Mm.
And he said, last night you came back home, you woke me up, and I couldn't go back to sleep, and you were naked next to me, and I couldn't help. So I had the sex with you while you asleep.
Oh my God.
And I didn't have like solid sex education. I wasn't even sure if this is like, a rape or just like something he felt bad about. So I texted my friend who I had a birthday with, my close friend. I said, does this count as rape? And they didn't even answer me. They just said, pack your thing and come here. The next moment I know um this is bad.
Mm.
So I just like didn't want to talk to him. And and then he followed up. He said, I I don't know if you still on your pills. I came inside of you a little bit. Maybe you need to take a pill. And then I was like, you have the pill, right? And they say, yeah, I have the pill. He literally bought Plan B for me during the day and then hide it for the whole day, acting like it's your birthday, yay. And yeah, I grabbed the pill, I packed my stuff, and then just left. And on the way to my friend's house, he keep on texting me, please don't call the police. It's gonna ruin my future. It's gonna ruin my career. It's gonna be on my record forever. I just couldn't think until I get to my friends. They called the emergency line, booked like a social worker for me to do a rape kit for me in the hospital next day. So we
Mm.
didn't really sleep. We went to hospital super early. And that's my first time experience. Like they gonna question you by different people, ask you what happened. But I
Mm,
was asleep. So that made me think like, well, like the chart, they literally draw you up and you have to tell them where did they touch you and
mm,
stuff. I was passed out, but like I can't imagine like people who actually have to answer those questions
mm,
when they're conscious, you know.
mm-hmm,
So after this happened, I just knew I have to be away for a little bit. So I asked like I want to go back to China to visit my family because I haven't been home for 3 years. And then he agreed, and that was like a school break too. So I went back home for 2 months, and I still pretended I was with him because I made him to call me to not make my family think like something is wrong. I don't even understand how I'm able to process this or explain what happened.
mm,
So we pretend we were still together for the period of time where I was back home. And when I came back to Canada, there's one extra toothbrush in the bathroom, and there is a woman's bathing suit that not mine in the shower drying
mm.
like area. I'm like, already? Yeah, he is already seeing someone because he need healing. That's what he said. She makes him feel better. So I
Oh,
kind of beat him up.
oh my God.
Yeah, I I definitely did beat him up. I threw shit on him. I kicked him. I punched him, and I made him leave the house for 2 weeks. I don't care you living on the street or at her house. I need you out.
Mm,
Yeah. So during that period, I find my own apartment. I moved out, decided to restart my life over again because he was the reason I moved to Montreal. So it
mm,
kind of was like erase past 3 years minus I have enough friends who able to give me emotional support who made me go through this period of time
mm,
way easier. So that was the last part of our relationship, but I didn't able to process the divorce until last year.
mm-hmm,
So I think it's almost 5 years period of I couldn't how do you call it, like decide if this is the right thing. Because I regret I didn't press charge on him every
mm-hmm,
day because
mm-hmm,
his life didn't change at all.
mm-hmm,
I also didn't even tell his parents, and I think it's like too late. If I tell now, they might be like, "That's really petty. Maybe you just like not having a good life, and then you wanna, because he is like perfect son in their eyes."
mm,
I I hide the story because I don't want to hurt them because I really treat them as a family.
mm,
But now I'm like, why am I protecting him, but I'm the only one get hurt?
mm,
So, mm, oh, there's also a funny story of one time we were trying to sit down to have a conversation about how we're gonna process divorce. I think that was like 2 years after the yeah, around 2019.
mm-hmm,
We meet in a restaurant. I ordered a steak. So they switched the knife. This is the like key element of this story. I have a steak knife. Um, so whole time he know how to gaslight me. He was like really calmly telling me things like Seven is gonna be okay, like the tone,
mm,
Like I'm not saying it's not gonna be okay. I know when I get um stressed, I talk aggressively towards him. But
Mm,
he's the one talk really calm with a smile on his face, and he kind of like grabbed my hand on the table, like tapped
mm,
me, and then said, "Seven, it's okay, it's all right." I don't know what part of this just like lit me up.
mm.
I, I just grabbed the steak knife. I just like put stab on his hand, and then it's like, I can't have a conversation with you right now. I have to go. Then like I was so scared. I didn't even check the surrounding, like the waitress, what did they say, what did they see? I just run out and like just cried all the way home. And he called me later and I couldn't talk to him on the phone either. Every time he called me, I will end up like screaming, yelling, and I just threw my phone away. It's
Mm,
just like, I guess it's kind of belated trauma that I
mm,
wasn't aware when the thing
mm,
just happened. So yeah, it took me a really long time. I went to therapy for a year and did not talk about the rape at all.
mm,
Mostly unveil my childhood trauma, which helped me a lot to understand why I'm acting like this.
mhm,
So slowly, 2023, new year, new me. So
mm,
first thing on my to-do list is get divorced.
mhm,
So I reached him out and just like, hey, let's do this thing. So finally, I think in May last year, we got the official paper. But yeah, it took me 5 years to be able to deal with that.
mm. That must have been so hard. Can't even imagine.
At the end of the day, you feel you're okay, but it's the thoughts at the night when you can't sleep and then you're having a shitty day and you'll be like, well, I wonder what he's doing. He must just like, sleep super well now. There's nothing bothering him. And this idea just like pissed me off.
So you
You know,
don't
like how many
contact each
time
other anymore?
no. I
Mm,
have this like two sides of me. One side is like eventually probably in 10 years I can be friends with him again and we can have like coffee date and just like talk about past.
mm,
This is like my Zen side of like
mm-hmm.
moving on. And then the dark side is I can go to his LinkedIn, just like write what happened.
Well, I think both of these sides are valid, to be honest. And
Yeah.
like in the last girl confessions episode, or in one of the previous ones, I mentioned that I think that like wishing someone well who has hurt you or disrespected you is overrated. You don't have to wish someone well. You don't even have to wish them badly. You can just wish them nothing. Like, I wish you nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be, because I feel like that's like the least emotionally charged thing. You wish someone badly and then you're carrying like
Mm-hmm.
negative feeling. If you wish someone well when you don't actually mean it, then now you're trying to almost like gaslight yourself into associating a thought with a feeling in a disingenuous way. But when it's like, I just wish you nothing, you're like, you could live or die. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, like a plastic bag. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, karma always finds its way back to people. Karma is his personality, you know? So,
Yeah, I believe in karma.
yeah.
So
But I'm really sorry that you had to go through all that. That would have been so tough.
I feel like the day I can tell the story out without a wave in my heart, I think
Mm,
that's the day I'm actually kind of already moved on better
mm-hmm,
than I thought. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
And this is also like I like to find positivity out of all this shit. It's like this was my bottom.
mm,
So no matter what happened, can be worse than this.
mm-hmm,
So I guess, yeah, it's been 5 years almost 6 years, nothing happened is more shittier than this. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Love that.
not too bad.
Yeah. So since then, like, what were the things that you think sort of helped you to move on from that experience? Like you mentioned therapy, and I think obviously like your community and your friends as well.
And I had a really hot boyfriend at the time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but he was a major man child,
Mm-hmm.
like require a lot of mothering. He was so
Mm-hmm.
much younger than me. I think he was 6 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I transferred from a caretaker to a caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
So, because my
Oh, from the
ex-husband
one that was being
actually,
taken care of to the
yeah,
one who was okay.
exactly. I don't know, but he pushed me to talk during relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I pull my old trick, silent treatment,
Mm-hmm.
he will follow me around, shake me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Come on,
Mm.
come on. Like he will annoy me so much, and then I burst and be like, "You did this to make me feel da 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 da." And then he goes like, "See, it's not that hard."
Mm.
So he literally helped me to talk when I
Mm-hmm.
felt upset. So
Mm-hmm.
which is made me reflect on maybe me and my ex-husband's relationship. I can take quite a big amount of responsibility. This didn't work because I refused to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
which also like a big realization to me because I did blame him on everything. But
Mm-hmm.
slowly, slowly, when I understand myself better,
Mm-hmm.
I realize I could also be better.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
without making it about your like value or your worth or whether that would justify his actions or not, just recognizing that in retrospect, there's like, okay, accountability that you can take because the relationship is still between two people. And,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, he did a lot of fucked up shit, but also what were the things that maybe you didn't realize at the time were also contributing to that dynamic and like what was causing you to stay longer than you maybe wouldn't have if you knew what you knew now. I think that's always something that I
Yeah,
think about.
exactly. And like the reason of I didn't press charge on him also is like I value our past together. We were together for a long time. He did
Mm,
help me to get away from my shitty life in China with my family. Like
mm,
that I'll be forever grateful.
mm,
So I think I try to find a balance point, trying to equal each other out.
mm,
Like you did this, but you also helped me with this. I don't know which side is weighted more, but I try to
mm,
convince myself this is like um a equal thing, so I don't feel
mm,
shitty. Yeah.
mm. Or at least like it must be so difficult, but to like try to hold like multiple contradictory things at the same time. And I don't think you could ever make like a value judgment on either of those things and be like, this is worth this many points and this is worth that many points. But that's like one of the
Yeah.
hardest things to do when you get older and when you try to mature is recognizing that there are like good and bad or light and dark parts in every situation and every person and every relationship. And it's not as simple as just like picking a side or picking like the right answer or like the final conclusion. It's just like you have to live in this kind of balancing act or the discomfort of like one day one part feels more intense than another part. And like, how do you just live with it, or how do you try to make the best decision for yourself? moving forward,
Yeah,
I guess.
exactly. I re-listened to a podcast I did before. I think it was 3 years ago. That was before the official paper was signed,
Mm.
but it was in Chinese platform. I think I mentioned to you.
Mm-hmm.
When I talk about this briefly, I was so angry.
Mm.
So the comments like I am ungrateful bitch like I deserve this or something.
That's fucked
And
up.
I guess like now after we peacefully solved um this thing, I think yeah, the thought of having coffee with him is a peaceful thinking instead
Mm-hmm.
of I'm gonna stab him during his sleep, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're gonna have coffee with a steak knife.
Yeah. We never
Yeah.
talked about the stabbing thing, which
Mm.
I think it's like he understand me, I understand him. So we never brought this up,
Mm.
which is like, yeah,
That's wild. Last year is when you officially were divorced.
yeah,
Do you feel like did you have any thoughts around marriage and stuff when you were younger? Like, because I think something that a lot of listeners will ask me about or tell me about is this pressure that they feel to get married by a certain age, and like what, you were married when you were 21.
one,
Yeah,
yeah,
and now you're like in your late 20s, early 30s. So like married and
yeah,
divorced before 30. You've done the thing that so many women feel like they need to rush into, but not even because you were like rushing into it for the idea of marriage or like trying to pursue the institution of marriage. It was like not for love, but also like visa reasons.
yeah, exactly. But we made agreement before we signed the paper. I said this is for visa purpose. We said, and
Mm,
for wedding, for actually marriage stuff, we will deal after I graduate. That's when we made the 5 years plan
mm,
together. When we bought a condo together, I was like, okay, so 2 years after I graduate, we'll have a baby,
mhm,
and then we move into a bigger house. Like
mhm,
I even tell him which area, blah blah blah.
mhm,
We have the 5 year plan signed.
mhm,
Like with a heart, not like a contract wise, like a
mhm,
romantic wise with a
mhm,
heart and everything. Um, I was fully believed I'm ready to be a mom
mhm,
and like a wife with him because I
mhm,
think like that's what I signed up for when I come here.
mhm,
Then now I think I will never get married again. I think
mhm,
the idea just delusional. Like whatever you feel when you get married, it's
mm,
definitely we are all changing people. Like I think during pandemic, so many people broke up
mhm,
because they just can't bear with each other.
mhm,
So there's gonna be so many other possibility to happen to drive you guys apart.
mm,
So whatever commitment you made together under whatever situation, it sounds like dreaming.
mhm.
And then you got wake up and you'd be like, oh, so glad I didn't do that. Imagine I have a baby right now. Oh my God.
That's so crazy.
Now I have a reverse pressure from my family again because I visit
Mm,
them last year. They know we
mhm,
broke up, and
mhm.
I have the you have to find a boyfriend again. Like I thought I passed that so early without,
Uh-huh.
and I told my grandma that all your daughter are single moms. Like
Mm,
they didn't find partner.
mhm,
Pressure them. If they find one, then it's my turn.
mhm,
Like,
mhm.
yeah. I really thought I dodged the bullet, but now it's coming back to me. My grandma called me every time. It's like she even said this thing like, I don't get to pick anymore. Just anyone would take me because I'm a divorced. I'm like, it's 2024. That doesn't matter. I don't even have a kid. Like, why I don't get to pick?
Yeah, you have something even better than marriage or children. You have a Canadian passport, babe.
Yeah, literally,
That's
maybe
more
this is the,
valuable than a baby.
yeah, if someone want to move here, common law, like the spot is open.
Yeah, that's interesting because like I feel like in my family there's been very uh like I don't know. I don't want to say tumultuous, but like not ideal relationship examples. So before my grandma used to ask me like, okay, when are you going to bring back a boyfriend? Like, when are we going to meet someone? And I just never really had an answer for her. And then, especially like during the pandemic when I was in Australia, because my grandparents live in Australia. I mean, I never felt like an overwhelming pressure to get married or to settle down, but that was like a very sort of uncertain time for me. And then since I've been back in China for the last like year and a half, almost 2 years, and like rebuilding my life and like getting busier, and then like I don't have as much time to go back to Australia, my grandma's like, oh, like whenever she tries to mention, well, the last time she tried to mention it, and I was like, but I'm so busy, like, and I'm making money. And don't you think making money is better than being in a relationship? Because, like, think about it. If I had a boyfriend, I wouldn't have as much time to make money because I'd have to like pay her, like, buy her. And then she's like, that's true. And I was like,
True. Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, and honestly, like, I haven't met anyone that's making a lot of money. So then if I was dating someone and he wasn't making as much money, he would be taking money from me. Do
Money
you
from
want that
you.
for your
Yeah.
granddaughter? And then she was like, oh, okay. And then I like give her examples of like other men in our family. And I'm like, do you want that to happen to me? And she's like, that's true. And I was like, well, look at all these other examples of men that have like, destroyed their family or like left their children, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't want to make the same mistake. And I'm making sure that if I'm going to have a child, if I'm going to be in a relationship, I'm going to have all my shit together. And she's like, okay. And then she just doesn't ask. And she'll be like, when you
Oh
coming
my
back?
God,
I'm
my
like,
grandma is the opposite.
really?
Yeah.
Can't you? But I feel like money is like the thing that can trump everything in Chinese culture. If you can bring up money, then maybe they'll see things differently.
Okay, so I delayed the time of me telling my family that I left my ex. So I think I waited 7 months or 9 months until I fully settled into the new apartment. Then
Mm,
I tell them, oh, I just moved out yesterday. So I kind of like push, like I pretend it just happened because
mm-hmm,
I process better than I'm able to tell my grandma.
mm,
My grandma said, "Oh, why you move out? Like just figured it out." And I was like, "But oh, I also didn't tell them about the rape because
mm,
even I wasn't sure that's rape or not. I'm sure they wouldn't understand because for inner marriage sex things
mm.
like allowed it. Even my cousin said, "Oh, but you guys are married." I was like, "Doesn't matter you're married or not. Like, I feel this is really
Yeah, you
a
don't even want to go
big,
there.
yeah, like I don't want to educate her because I not fully understand the whole thing yet, the
Mm,
time.
mm-hmm,
So, so I told my grandma he cheated.
mm-hmm,
That's why we broke up. And my
mm.
grandma basically says something like, all men cheats. It's okay. And she trying to tell me to leave some of my underwear at the house. So remind him of me. I
Oh.
can't believe my 75 years old grandma trying to tell me how to seduce my man back.
Oh my God.
I that's like the first time he telling me something like this intimate thing. And
Are
I just like,
your
oh no.
is your grandma like still with your grandfather or like
Yeah, they are together. But they're kind of like arranged marriage, like
mm,
just similar age, similar background, so they should get married. But there's
okay.
like, yeah, there's no romance love between my grandparents, but they are like very close as a family, I guess.
Different generation, different values.
Yeah, exactly. They have to stay together for the family. That's
Mm,
their value, I think.
mm,
So yeah, so now my grandma think I by myself. The reason I need a man is to take care of me. And I
mm,
said I'm fully capable of taking care of me. That's I've been doing for past years. And then you can
mm,
see I can, provide myself, blah blah blah. But she still think like I just need a man in my life. When I move out, she really think I was gonna live under the bridge. She was freaking out. Like I think she didn't even freak out as much as when she found out I run away from home. Like, yeah,
did your grandma
she,
work or before she got
yeah, she
married?
did. She worked as an accountant at
Mm-hmm.
like a local mine company, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But she had also like a really dramatic life shifting before Cultural Revolution. She was
Mm,
princess in this like big big family thing, and the overnight she had to change her family name, and they've been given away to some faraway relatives, and like
mm.
took her 25 years to find all her brother and sister back. She has like nine siblings, and
Wow.
their youngest brother died from hunger during the revolution.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so she fully think like a man will provide me a stable life. Like I can't convince her. I just tell her, "Oh, I haven't seen anyone like, compatible." And then she
Mm.
told me, "Don't pick. Just oh, she said, but find a Chinese man this time, huh?"
有区别吗？啊，
Yeah. 没有区别. Yeah,
对
I
吧？
agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, he's just a man. It doesn't matter where they're from, what color their skin is.
I had this conversation with my friend yesterday.
Mm,
Um, like under what circumstance you would take a man in right now?
right.
Um, like I think we are agree we are able to date someone who has been a relationship for more than 5 years. Like they are
Mm-hmm.
being trained, they behave, they taught some valuable lesson. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only like standard, like a basic standard, like when was your last relationship and how long was your last relationship? It's more than 5 years. It's pretty solid that another woman can stay with you for that long time, and you definitely learn shit from the relationship, right?
Interesting. Well, definitely that would be a very strong assumption in terms of learning capability.
True, true. Yeah,
I've
we,
dated
we we're
men that
talking
have,
about from our like perspective. True,
right,
there is, yeah.
because I've dated men that have been in long-term relationships and that doesn't, I think it's like the paradox is that as humans, we want to be able to identify certain things or like classify certain things in order to feel like a sense of control or certainty. But there is no certainty, like you said, like people change all the
Yeah.
time, things change all the time. Like I always talk about how my biggest lesson from the pandemic, when people ask me like, oh, so where do you want to live long term? I'm like, I don't fucking know. And like there's literally no point in me even trying to plan it because in 2019, I'd lived in Shanghai for like 2.5 years already. I'd built my whole like post-university life here. I had projects that were lined up, and then literally a pandemic happened, and paperwork was the thing that stopped me from being able to come back, and fucking germs in the air. Okay. Like, no part of my 2020 plan on the 31st of December
Yeah.
2019 was like, yeah, let me think about like some kind of global pandemic that's going to ruin my life, like, so even now, I feel like the smallest things, like when you start, a big part of my processing through that period was realizing that in any given moment, you actually have like an infinite number of possible choices that you could take, or infinite number of possible outcomes, or like paths that can be taken. And you can't, you can focus on the things that you can control, but your ability to predict what will come up is like literally impossible. Like,
Impossible. Yeah.
and for better or worse, because so many amazing things have happened in my life, or like I've met so many amazing people that have been completely unpredicted. I could have never been able to say like, okay, you DM'd me on Instagram regarding like a live stream or something that never happened, and then we just stayed in like semi contact and then met da a
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was gonna
exactly.
we were gonna keep like we were gonna keep each other company like over 3 weeks of hotel quarantine, and then I'd have someone to meet up with after in Kunming and come back to Shanghai with, and then like I could have never predicted for that, and there's so many other things I couldn't have predicted for that ended up in really amazing experiences, and so many other things I couldn't have predicted for that was shit. So I
Yeah.
think that can also speak towards like the way that you see like a 5-year plan so differently now. It's not that you can't still have goals and be like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
like I'd want to own a house, or I want to, but it's like to assume that there's any certainty in like literally anything is, it's just a waste of energy
No
for me now.
expectation. That's the lesson. Don't have
Yeah.
expectation or low expectations. Yeah.
Yeah, like keep your expectations low, but your standards high. So it's like
Yeah.
what you're looking for. Things come into your periphery, and if it's not the vibe, then it's a no, and keep it moving. Like I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned, especially when it comes to dealing with men. Like, because I don't
Yeah.
hate men generally. Like I really enjoy the company of the men in my life because I've gotten better at maintaining my standards. As soon as I come across a dude and I'm like, the vibe's off, I'm just like, bye. And I can just keep it moving. Whereas when I was younger, I would make so many excuses. I'd be like, oh, let me just give him a chance. Or maybe it's not that
Yeah, but he is like
bad.
this.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
and now it's just like, bye.
I had a fully year and a half that I supposed to bring with a breakup with the boyfriend that I was after my ex-husband.
Mm,
Like
mm.
we were together for 3 years. The whole reason I kept him around is he just so beautiful. Like like it's a nice eyesight to just look at. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it was not worthy of us struggling another a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Also the thought of like I have made you so much better. I don't want anyone else to share my work
Hard
result,
work.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is some
Sunken
like fucked
cost.
ups. Yeah, some fucked up like procession thoughts.
Mm.
But once he had to go back to Paris and we had some like time off for longest for the first time for like a while, and I felt so free.
Mm-hmm.
And I just called him, was like, yo, let's break up. Like yeah, we should done this a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
So we just did. We lived together for 3 years, and then the day we decided to break up, I packed all his stuff
Uh-huh.
from our shared apartment. I packed
Mm-hmm.
everything. I hide all his stuff under the bed because he doesn't know when he's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally erased his exist in the apartment, and it felt amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
How have you been
We're
able
still
to
good
live
friend.
with men for such an extended period of time? I've only lived with someone I've been dating for maybe like 2 months or like
It
I've
started pandemic. I couldn't go anywhere.
mm,
So, and not only one man, his roommate was two other men. So I lived
oh
in an apartment with three men for 6 to 7 months.
what?
We had a double bedroom where I was stay in all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I walk out of my room, they are just doing bonehead. The whole living room is like smoky,
Oh my
stinky.
God. Oh my God.
And you know, I don't know if you ever been in a stoner conversation with guys. The stuff
Mm.
they talk about, it's reminded me of those children channel of like how teaching people how to start learning talking, because they will repeat after each other and just like laugh.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
What?
a they'd be like, dude, do you think about right now, let's all go to this space. And then there's someone will say, yeah, let's go to this space. And they just go like, ha 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 ha. Like they're so stoned, like their brain is doing like a single brain cell conversation.
Oh my God.
And worst part is like if they ever bring politics up and then the shit they say, just like I can't be in the room. I can't not be the witness of this conversation happen.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I lived with them. That's why I desperately want to move to a different apartment. And the boyfriend at the time, he also want to like change. So
Mm.
we find this really beautiful sunny apartment. And I decided the apartment is better than him. I just need the apartment. I don't need him.
So now do you still live in it or you've moved again? Do you
I
live?
moved again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah, I
live?
live by myself now.
Okay. How does it feel to live alone?
I have my cat and me. I understand why cat lady is a thing now. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's the 100% of the freedom. Also, I live further than like the corner center I used to live. Before I go downstairs to get a bucket or a coffee, I need to like put proper clothes on because I'm gonna run into five people I know in that neighborhood. Then
Mm-hmm.
I have to do the small talk. And now I
Mm-hmm.
live in the far away neighborhood. I go buy my cigarette in this suit, you see? I just like put it on, I go. I know I will not run into anyone I know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, fully free here.
Mm. Yeah, I think like I don't even have a cat and I'm like so happy. I feel like I would love a cat, but I would just worry if I'm like traveling. I don't like asking people for favors to look after my pet
Yeah.
or like having to put it in a hotel. But literally like I just think like, okay, well, if I lived with a man or if I even dated a man, like he literally would have to have a even higher standard of cleanliness than me because I would not be able to
Yeah.
like I had to clean my whole apartment today and I hated every second of it. I was like I could never be a housewife and do this every day. It would drive me crazy. I was like trying to clean so that I could start working again. And then I was just thinking like if I had a boyfriend like and he was messier than me, it would just never work because I
Mm-hmm.
already hate cleaning my own mess. Imagine if I had to clean two people's messes. Like I'm gonna die
Yeah.
single.
And the hidden conversation is we call invisible
Labor.
housework,
Yeah.
especially yeah, when you're with a partner. Like
Mm-hmm.
the stuff they think you do is bare minimum, but like the shit you trying to prepare is actually tons of work.
Mm.
Like yeah, you ask them to pick up socks, but like the process of you being frustrated,
Mm-hmm.
see the socks and you get pissed, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have to prepare of having your conversation with him, be like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I see that you leave your socks outside of the laundry bucket. Do you mind next time put in the bucket? Like
Oh
there's
my
a whole
God.
process is will not happen because we don't need that conversation.
Exactly. I just have to have that conversation with myself and keep moving. Like, yeah, when I lived with the previous partner, even just for a few months, I was like cleaning and like cooking. And I didn't really mind it at the time, but I also knew that long term, it's like I could never do this. And it's not like so great being with him that I would keep
Yeah, like
doing it.
the weight doesn't equal.
Yeah, because I could just do it for
Yeah.
myself and then not have to deal with any of the other, like, like part of dating is not just like what benefit you get, but also what problems you're willing to accept as well. And right now it's like, I don't want any problems. I don't want
I
more
had the
problems.
fear. Yeah, the reason before I always have a roommate because I have this
Mm.
internal fear of like, what if I just passed out or like fell in the bathtub or just dropped dead and I want someone to find me.
Yeah.
That was like the only reason I wanted to have a roommate.
Mm-hmm.
Then then I had a roommate who is low maintenance already, but I still
Mm-hmm.
find these things like irritate me.
Mm-hmm.
Like we buy toilet paper on rotation. So I
Mm-hmm.
buy the good one with prints on it. I like soft and cute toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
And I always buy like 36 roll which lasts us a long time. But when
Mm-hmm.
it's his turn, he just go to the convenience store, buy the countertop toilet paper, which is like not soft, super thin. I have to like
Ew.
roll up so many times.
Oh my
And
God.
but I don't know how to have this conversation, be like, hey, I enjoy the better quality toilet paper more. Do you mind to get that next time? Like I never had this conversation with him. So I
Mm.
just said like, uh, I guess I will get toilet paper for the whole time. We just like put this in the house cost, just easier. And I guess he got the hint, so that solved. But yeah.
Yeah, like men know that having a woman around is beneficial to them because so many of them have told me, like, oh, yeah, it's so much better living with girls because they're way cleaner, they make everything like so much nicer. Or like, oh, like there's not enough women in the office. So like, the vibe is so like broy, or like no one's decorating the office, no one's organizing any like little events. I'm like, you're so pathetic.
I just knew like when you live with guys, if they see a half like leftover drinks on a corner, they will
Mm.
never pick it up. Just be like, oh, I could clean this. But like
Yeah. Or they
when
just
I
wait
live with
until the whole
girls,
table is full of empty
or
drinks,
they
half empty
gross
drinks.
weird shit inside to like green and they will not clean it. I'm telling you, they just threw it away. They will
Mm,
not clean it. They would just like
mm,
buy. And
mm,
they will not automatically be like, oh, the sink is full. Maybe it's time to clean it.
mm.
I have to be like, guys, I can't even wash my hands. Can you clean the sink?
I was
And then be
really
like, oh.
I was really lucky when I lived with a guy that I wasn't dating. We were just housemates. He was like gaming. So he would game like all night and then sleep in the day when I would go to uni. And we would kind of just, I don't know, we had like a great housemate dynamic. So anytime it started to get a little too messy and one of us had time, we would kind of clean up. And then I moved out and like a guy moved in. And then this guy, he was like, oh man, like my original housemate, he's so dirty. Like he doesn't clean anything, blah, blah, blah. It's so gross. And I was like, what do you mean? Like when I was there, we had like a good balance. And then the original housemate, he was like, yeah, because you're a girl. Like obviously I'm going to try harder to make sure that it's like not disgusting. But if it's two guys living together, I don't give a fuck about his standards. And then another guy moved in, and I remember going to the apartment and like looking at my old bathroom, and the toilet was like stained, and like the bed. Oh my God, I was literally like, I could tell a man has been here. No women have been
Yeah,
in this house for so
yeah.
long. It's so hectic. But I will say I do know men that are like a bit OCD and like clean freaks and they'll like bleach their whole apartment in their free time. So that's the kind of man that I need to
I
be with.
yeah, I visit a friend who kind of like that.
Mm.
I literally just put down my coffee cup and I'm gonna pick up something. He literally stand up, just followed me, and I put the coffee cup in the sink immediately and I wiped the area where I left my coffee cup.
Wow. Well trained.
Yeah. But no, that will get me stressed. Like I
Mm.
know, like I put it here, I will clean it. Is you're
Mm.
like a fucking automatically operation AI following me. Once there's a dirty cup, you have to go pick it up and put it in the sink. It's kind of intense. The mirror, you know, like when
Mm.
you wash your hand, you might splash a little bit on the mirror.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You will come in right away and wipe the mirror while I'm still washing my hand. Like
Oh my God.
it's a sparking apartment, and he has a dog, which like really like clean, clean, clean. But yeah,
Okay.
I think the dog is probably OCD too. Well, like wipe his whole ass after he poops.
Okay, so are you dating in Montreal at the moment? What's the scene like there?
Not dating. I went celibate 2.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. How's that been?
Out of It's amazing. Like I will have a crush. I love having a crush on someone. They
Mm.
don't know I have a crush on them.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's like having crush is about me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know what I meant. Like
Yeah.
if I know this person gonna be this gathering, I will be more giggly
Excited.
or like
Yeah.
this. Yeah, exactly. But they would
Yeah.
not know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to see them like make me happier,
Mm-hmm.
but like there's no action I want to like take
Pursue.
or just like
Mm.
yeah. So and it comes and goes as fast as the same. Like I have a crush right away and then I will kill it with a like tiny little thing if they show
Mm-hmm.
up with the most ugliest shoes I see in my life. Then be like, sorry, you're off the list. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I relate.
yeah.
So is there like an end to your like how do you define like when the celibacy ends or it's just like this is what you're going to do until you feel like there's a compelling reason to not do it.
The reason I started it was like unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Like I realized, oh, I'm fully celibate because I wasn't interested in like encounter them for at least like 6 months. I realized
Mm-hmm.
like I've been having this lifestyle. I wasn't on dating app. I wasn't talking to anyone, flirting at the.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fully come from the disappointed in men
Mm.
because of um the last person I was seeing before celibate was a super insecure guy who fully ghosted me after he had a really poor performance in bed. Like he couldn't get erection. Like we
Uh-huh.
used probably 15 condoms that day. And I have to keep on telling him, like, it's okay. Like, I don't mind. Like,
Mm.
I just glad like you're here. Like, I have to
Mm-hmm.
comfort him. I swear to God, I am the dude position that night. He was on my chest, and I have to
Mm-hmm.
cuddle him to sleep. And the next day, we made a plan to go to this like really cute brunch spot. They only open limited time because it's still pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said, "Okay, I'm gonna go home, like rest up and do some work." And then he just like, "Hey, sorry, I think I need some time off." Then just like bailed on the brunch plan. And I just, what do you mean? I like, we made the plan or you want to reschedule? And then he respond, which part of I need some time off you don't understand? So he responded me that, and I just like, okay, you know what? Fuck this and fuck you. And I
Oh
just
my
like stopped
God.
talking to him. And I think that was my last straw. It's
Mm.
like you're just like whatever. Then I just lost all the interest of trying to find someone else, whatever. So then that happened, and until now, I had two, I would say, charity fuck
Hmm.
to two different guys. Like,
During the celibate period.
yeah, because
Okay.
they were so nice to me. And I'm just like, you know what? Okay, I will let you have sex with me. And can this be over? Like, I had the sex with them to be done with this stupid thing. And
Hmm.
it obviously is like not good sex and just like have a job done. I don't know why,
Hmm.
like, I'm entitled to, but it worked. As soon as we had sex, it's done. Like, they stop,
Trying to pursue
trying to,
you.
yeah, trying to fucking walk me home at 3 a.m. under the snow, and like,
Ugh.
yeah. So I enjoy having a crush, but like you asked, if under what scenario I would end, like, I guess just someone meet my standard. I guess the reason I can go on this long is no one meet
Mm.
the standard.
Hmm.
Like, there's probably like 3 elements is required, and then you even only meet two is not good enough.
Mm. What are your like non-negotiables? Or like what are these standards? What's like
uh
important to
it,
you?
oh it's always changing, but
Mm.
I guess um somehow a cat person is very essential to me.
Hmm. Or like how do you think they've changed since you were younger to now? Because when I think about the things that I was like looking in for in a connection or relationship when I was younger compared to now, like my younger self would be like, what's wrong with you?
We have no standard, I feel like.
Yeah, it's just like
I
vibes.
had, yeah, I had like, I don't know, hookups like last a few months, and I can't even remember their name
Mm.
and what they look like now. It's just like, I guess it's just a thing we needed to be at that age. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go home with random person at all nowadays. Like, I have to know you first. Like, one night
Yeah.
stand shit is like over.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like I could get a crush on a guy just because he wore like a t-shirt by a brand that I thought was cool or something
Yeah,
when I was in
yes,
my early
yes.
20s.
No,
Like,
I
are you
have it
sick?
now.
Yeah, and I'm like, am I sick in the head? Like, was I so brainwashed by capitalism and branding that I thought that like a man buying into a brand or like listening to a certain type of music was somehow a reflection of his character or his like ability to be true to his word or his ability to respect women. Like all that shit is bullshit. You completely
I
project
had
like
a
your own values through these mediums onto a person that you don't even know and you woo.
do you have do you have a major crush on skater boys?
I used to have like a personal joke with myself and the world that I love skater boys, but I don't even think I've ever really dated like a proper skater boy. And I don't think I ever will want to even date a skater boy, but I just think it's like a funny meme. I guess I
Yeah,
have dated guys that wear skate brands, but I'm not like following a guy around who carries a skateboard, like maybe they have a skateboarder aesthetic, but
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Is
I
that
had a
your
major skate yeah, I had a major skate boy disease. Um
disease?
Yo, for real, because I I got two STD in my life, and it's all given buy skate
Oh my
boys.
God.
And I learned my lesson. As the first time is unlucky. Second time is that I'm asking for it. So yeah, and then I remember that year of my birthday, I made a promise to myself. If I ever heard a skateboarding road pass by, if I turn around, I will slap myself. And I have 5 solid slap on myself so far. So
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
yeah, the worst thing is you finally, okay, just one look. You saw some skateboarder is passing by, you turn around, just some lady rolling a fucking garbage can, it's not even a skateboard. And then you just like, okay, good one, universe. You
Oh
made a
my
joke
God.
on me.
Okay, so back to your non-negotiables. Cat person is important. Understandable. They need to
Yes.
accept your children.
Yeah. And I think music taste is a
Mm-hmm.
thing for
Mm-hmm.
real. I don't like Drake, but if they are obsessed with Drake, I think that's a
Red
problem.
flag. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that
I
is
have best
maybe
friend,
like
they are crazy about Drake, and I just like, yeah.
there's a value difference here,
Yeah.
clearly. But it's okay because you're friends and you're not living together listening
Yeah,
to
exactly.
6 God
Yeah.
in the morning. Yeah.
And the third thing I think is very important to me is they enjoy food.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's people difference of they eating food as maintain life. And
Mm,
there's people they will not compromise to have a bad meal and they
mm,
will spend times to cook a just simple dish, even though it's like process is really long and complicated.
mm-hmm.
Because I think that's like core of my life. Even
Mm-hmm.
like I live by myself, I make a simple bowl of noodle. I still have need to prepare like if I have like, green onion,
Mm-hmm.
eggs, I will definitely like prepare them on the noodle.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is also projecting on like they enjoy small pleasures.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, I think the food is, I guess it's same with music. So music, taste, and the food.
mm-hmm. Any
Yeah.
like other character traits that you look for, like something
I
that's or like
like
values that are important to you? Because I feel like that's what stands out to me more as I get older. It's
mm-hmm.
like for you, the music taste and the food is like not just like the taste, but like the values that it is indicative of. And I think like for me, things that I didn't think about when I was younger was like, oh, are they true to their word? Like if they say they're going to do something, are they actually going to do it, or are they just going to say nice sounding things and then disappoint me?
Yeah,
Because I didn't know that that was like some people can be true to their word and some people are chronically not true to their word. Because I just assumed like, okay, well, I always try my best to like do what I say I'm going to do, especially in my interpersonal relationships, my close relationships. And I assumed that whoever I was with would think the same way. But I was like, oh, like you actually have to like observe each other to find out if,
true, true.
you know,
Yeah, I never thought about that. It
yeah.
is true, like yeah, when you're with friends, they just give you their milestone. They actually didn't share like they gonna set this goal. I think this like a very intimate conversation between you and your partner, I guess.
Hmm.
But for me, I think the key element I rarely see is people remember what you said, like detailed stuff. Like
Hmm.
I hate to repeat myself about certain things. So
Mm-hmm.
when I have a conversation right now, I tell you some story, and the next
Mm-hmm.
time when we have a conversation, I can tell if you remember or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then if
Mm-hmm.
they goes like, yeah, you did this, right? I think that's like a major charming thing for me. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you actually listened, you paid attention, and
Mm-hmm.
you remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel a lot of time of I call unfunctional conversation is I already told you this, and you say, yeah, sorry, I forgot, and I
Mm,
just feel like I don't want to waste my energy to repeat to you the same story.
mm, 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 mm.
But I mean, I also understand there's people suffering ADHD. Like that's different though.
Mm,
Like,
mm, mm. But yeah, but that's
yes.
just like a personal preference if you're going to be in a relationship with someone, not like
Yeah.
erasure for people with ADHD. Like
Yeah.
maybe you're just not compatible with someone that has chronic ADHD, which is
Yeah.
fine. So yeah, I think that's kind of like the difference that I see in terms of like maturing in not only how I see myself and like what I think is important for me to be able to embody, but also like what I
Mm-hmm.
would look for in anyone that's like close to me in my life, whether that is a friend or a romantic partner or like someone that I work with. I'm looking for, you know, people that value being straightforward, people that, are true to their word or at least take responsibility and accountability for things that they say. Because, of course, you can't follow through on every single thing, but at least you can be like, my
Yeah.
bad. Um, so yeah, those are the things that I would look for if I was looking, which I'm
Yeah.
not.
That which is like, okay, I have a story to share. This happened last Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I just shared this with my girlfriends and maybe I will ask him out. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking class right now, so I'm back to student status, and then I submit the form to my bank, so I have a lower rate of interest.
Mm-hmm.
So they made an arrangement of appointment with some their advisor.
Mm-hmm.
So advisor called. So he need to verify my information first. So like name, address, email address. So my email is 7lovetoystory@gmail.com. But
Mm-hmm.
I kind of embarrassed to say it out. So I spell it. So I said LOVETOY. And then he paused and it's a great movie, by the way. And then I laughed and then he said, actually the best movie ever. And I was like, yeah, I know, right? And then in my
Mm.
mind, I was like, isn't this like official call or something? Like, is this recorded? Like, are you allowed to chat with your client? You're like my bank advisor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just have this thought in my head. And until asking me about my income and my occupation, he says, "Oh, you're a DJ," and I said, "Yeah." Uh, and he said, "Can I listen to your music anywhere?" And I love music. That's what he said. Is I love music. I was like, who doesn't? And I was like, yeah, you can find my music at Molly Gum. And then he said,
Mm-hmm.
how do you spell it? He fully was asking me of my
Mm-hmm.
Spotify name.
Mm-hmm.
So the conversation, rest of the part, it was like kind of like chatty, doing the form and sending
Mm-hmm.
him the documents, da da da. Then he arranged the next appointment, but he asked if it's okay we do on video because he
Mm-hmm.
wants to show his that
His
his
screen.
screen to yeah. But my friend says that he wants to see you. Like who I've never
Mm-hmm.
had a video call with my bank person, like never.
Right.
And 5 hours later, after the phone call, he added me on Facebook. Not Facebook, on Instagram. He followed me on Instagram.
Wow.
And he's kind of cute.
Mm-hmm.
And he made handbags. And then after he followed me with his personal account, 3 hours later, he followed me with his handbag account too.
That's crazy. He
And
makes handbags.
yeah, I'm gonna send you right now. You can take a look. And he's kind of cute. Uh, and
Oh.
I'm like, what if I ask him out so I can somehow magically got my student loan debt away?
Erased?
Because like, yeah, because he know how much money I owe. He know my credit card bill. He know my like financial problems. Like I'm
Mm.
basically naked to him in a way.
Yeah.
And is this like allowed? Like he just add me on personal?
I mean, I think he's like really blurring the lines between
But he's
client.
risking it. Like,
Yeah.
like I could literally report him or something. He's like
Oh,
basic cute.
okay.
But his French, which is kind of like red flag to me.
Wait, I need to get like an actual picture of him.
Also, the all his tagged photo is his ex-girlfriend. Like, I already did the
Uh-huh.
research. Okay, I even went on LinkedIn. I did all my research.
Okay. Oh, my internet's so slow. Damn this VPN.
He has decent style, I find.
He's French Canadian.
No, he's French.
Oh, that lives in Canada.
Like lives in Canada. A lot of French live in Canada.
Oh. Oh, okay.
And then go to his bag
Brand.
account. Yeah, he make cool bags. I want that bag. And he follows
But
seven
you don't
people,
follow
and
him back.
I didn't follow the bag. But I think personal is enough. No.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Also, he has 77 followers. If I follow, it's gonna be 78. I don't want
Right.
to break my lucky number.
Wow, he really made a statement by being like making you one of the seven people that his professional
Yeah,
account
I
follows.
know.
That's crazy. Because, like, I mean, you guys haven't even really started
We have
up.
one phone call. Yeah.
Okay. Rooting for you guys. Keep me posted.
Should
Don't
I
make
ask
yourself
him
too.
out?
No. Wait for him to
No.
ask you out.
But I feel he will never because
Or you could be
it's
like,
super
oh, like what's
unprofessional.
you could say like, yeah, we should get coffee sometime.
Talk about my numbers.
What are you doing this weekend? Do you want to get a drink? I mean, he's like doing what girls do. Like, I mean, I guess boys do this too now. Like they indicate interest with like the Instagram follow and like a few likes, maybe a reply to the story. And then, okay, I guess it's like your turn to be like, do you reciprocate or not?
Yeah.
So I would just be like, I don't know, like reply something like really dumb to one of your stories and then start a conversation that's off of official work
He
channels. You know what I
post
mean?
he post art gallery exhibitions. I have nothing to say to that. I like that's his story.
Well, I don't know. He'll reply to your story eventually. Post some pictures of
Yeah.
food or music. Like, wifey.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I get excited of those thoughts, but like of me doing it, I'm like, not sure.
Yeah.
I
I
did.
relate.
Have you ever like tonight gonna be really fun night? Maybe maybe just me. I will look at in the mirror, be like, let's try again tonight, okay? We got this.
I'm not there
I
yet.
will literally, I will literally talk to myself in the mirror, be like, today might be the day. Just be drunk and like just do it.
Oh
Like
my
my
God.
tarot card literally indicating I need sex. Like all the card is kind of like saying that.
Uh-huh.
And I start playing Sims. So I'm having
Hmm.
sex in the Sims too.
You
It's
need to
like
start
crazy.
you need to start a dance class. That's what I did. When you start dancing, that's a really great way to connect with your feminine and your sexual energy without needing like a man to be there.
Needing a man.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
I
really
watched
good.
your dance video and then I'm like, wow, this is really hot. And the next story you post how much bruise you got.
Oh yeah, that's when you first
And I'm
start though.
like, yeah,
And it makes you stronger mentally and physically. And then also, anytime a man is like mean to you, you're like, well, I can do what you can do, but you can't do what I can do. So try again, bitch.
nice. Yeah, I was doing boxing
Mm,
and I find it get me even more aggressively to refuse men because I know if I'm getting in a fight right now, I'm definitely gonna win. I don't think it's a
yeah,
good thing though.
right. I do really want to learn like martial arts. Like when I finish like one dance because I do like pole dance and then I also like impulse sport like a regular dance class card like with my friend and that
Yeah,
expires like in the middle of the year and I really want to learn martial arts because I literally want to be able to walk down the street and be like, yeah, if anyone tries me I can flip them over like because I got like harassed outside of a club last year in
yeah.
Shanghai, which is like so not really a thing here, something that's like I just assumed was always something that would only happen to me like in Australia. And when it happened in Shanghai, I was like, there were people around me that I knew. There was like two
Yeah.
guys and like a girl, and they all just kind of like stood there and didn't do anything. And I was like, oh, I really am alone in this world. Like these bitches will not, because I even was like
Help
trying to
you, yeah.
protect my friend, like this girl, and I was trying to like keep the guy away from her. And then the guy like actually knew the girl. So I was like, so you know this guy and you won't even, I'm trying to defend you from him. And now I found out that you
Yeah.
know him and you haven't done anything while he's been yelling at me for 20 minutes. I was like so pissed. So I feel like maybe my confidence would change, evolve again if I knew martial arts skill, self-defense skill. But
I got into so many bar fight for defending other girls and like it's literally none of my business. But when I see that, I always just like be so aggressive and then make the girl who was harassed kind of embarrassed. Like I definitely can feel like I did not ask your help. Like you don't have to, and it make me feel shitty of standing up for them, you know?
mm,
And I also did this thing when I was DJing in this certain venue. It's very small dance floor. I can see the crowd, and I can
mm-hmm,
literally see a girl being uncomfortable. I would just shut the music and then
mm.
pointing that guy out, be like, "Get him out!" And the security like will escort him out. And then that would become a thing when I DJ there. It was like with a microphone. They give me a microphone, which I love this venue so much. Shout out to Dacha.
Yeah.
Like they will literally set up microphone for me, so it's easier for me to call random shit out on the dance floor.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
but
like I don't need to start any fights. I don't even need to get involved. I just need to know that I have the ability,
no,
because it's like a mental
yeah.
thing that I do as well. Like I don't want to start an argument, but I know how to end one. And now I need to translate that into like physical manifestation too.
But do you find it one of the reason like um make us not to want to go to gym or like those martial art studio to learn because it's like the guy are teaching you? Because
Mm,
I went the open class of the boxing class, like they always pair me up with guy to do practice,
mm-hmm.
and the strength level obviously is like super different. I feel like so weak in front of them, like it bring down my confidence, like. And when I'm the punching pad, I feel
Mm.
like
Yeah.
they intentionally hit harder to make me feel like how strong they are.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
like the, yeah, being feel I don't like feel small.
Uh-huh.
So I stopped going. But they are
Yeah.
also like all women classes, but it's like really hard to arrange. But
Mm.
I guess that's just how I feel. So,
I think
but dance
dance,
class I would yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
because I talked about this in like another Girl Confessions episode with my friend who started coming to pole with me, and like because I've been doing it longer, so I'm like maybe at a more advanced level than she is, but she's like even I mean and even me still because I'm not as advanced as like other people in my class, it's like it doesn't matter if you're not even good because no one is there to judge you. Like it's like such a wholesome environment to be in a room full of women. Most, especially for
Mm-hmm.
pole dance, it's almost always women, unless you do like a hip hop dance or whatever in like a different kind of studio. You might have a guy teacher. But yeah, it's like a room full of women. We're all there to just learn, have fun. You get in tune with your like feminine energy, sexual energy, but there's no men. Like it's not for a man,
Yeah, I
like,
love that. Yeah.
and then like if a man tries to like arrange a booty call with you, you're like, but I could literally just like go to pole dance class and not have to talk to you or touch you and still not, it's not the same, but it's like my standard
Yeah,
is
you
so
have
different
a
now.
ultimate option. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because I learned something
And then you
new,
go to a booty call with a man, not necessarily felt good. So
right?
you that's not guaranteed, but you're
Exactly.
100% sure you go to pole dance and you will feel better after.
Yes, even if I don't get the move, even if I leave with an injury, I'm still happy that I even went. But
Yeah.
you don't have
Yeah.
those odds with booty call, okay?
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
before
it's
it was like not as clear to me. And now I'm like, wow, no, I'm not going to just meet up with you like last minute, even if it's not for a booty call and
mm-hmm.
it's just for like a guy who's like trying to arrange like a coffee or something, like low effort, nothing bullshit. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
busy. Because
Yeah.
like one of my guy friends asked me, he was like, when you're posting those videos, it's thirst trapping, right? And I was like, what? Like,
No.
my audience is like 80% women. And I literally, the thought of a man is like so far away in the distance when I'm doing that. It's just like for me to be like learning a new thing or like this is so funny or like it's got absolutely nothing to do with the male gaze.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
And
think
it
that's
like you should appreciate a free amazing show. Like you don't have to
exactly. If there are guys that are watching it and like
you should charge
enjoy,
them. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll kick you in the head. Like the fuck.
Yeah. And
I
the
would like to
spin
see you
down.
try. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
remember when I first started, there would be dudes being like, whoa, like that's crazy that you can do that because they understand like the physicality of having to like pull up your body weight, right? So it
Yeah.
was like funny that they weren't even like that's hot. They were just like, shit, that's
That's
impressive.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Need a major core energy.
Yeah. So even if you're like not, because I used to think like, oh, I'm not good at dancing. Like when I was younger, I had a lot of friends that were really into dance, and I just always
Yeah.
identified as being like uncoordinated and like not, that was not my strong suit. But I was just like, fuck it, I just want to try. And even if you're like, it literally doesn't matter if you're good at it or not, as long as you just enjoy yourself, It's not like it has to become your job. It's not like it has to, it's just being able to go consistently, being able to connect with your body and like your femininity and your sexuality in a different way. It's radical. Because you think
I'm
about like,
definitely
yeah. Think about like
gonna look that up.
traditional like women communities, how they connect over music and dance. Like this is such an important part of the human experience. And I think as a DJ, sometimes you're so used to like controlling the vibe. And then maybe, I mean, for me
Mm-hmm.
personally, like I don't get to go out and like dance that much. I'm usually like in charge of the dance floor, and it's a very different experience, like
Yeah.
just dancing to like dark club music versus like, okay, I'm learning like how to control my body. Um, so yeah, I think it's really great for women, especially if you're
Yeah.
like in a celibate period or you're like, okay, am I maybe gonna lower my standards this time, but I'm trying not to, like
Yeah.
that's the best way.
Thank you. I will definitely look it up and maybe sign a test like open class to try it out.
Yeah, and like the men that you eventually do get involved with benefit from the skills that you learn anyway. So it's like win-win for everyone.
They need they I will invoice them if they ever.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. Even just the crush element, I support crushes
All the crush.
I think that it's just, not every crush has to turn into something, and then when
Yeah.
you allow yourself to have a crush, you realize like, oh, okay, so maybe there are times when I'm acting on a crush that really did not need to be pursued.
Do you watch K-drama?
Mm-mm.
There's one show called My Liberation Notes. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
ever heard about it.
Mm.
And I think you will love it. It's not a typical dying romance show, but this show taught me about the crush doesn't have to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Crush is probably something you don't have like the maximum level of crush is worship, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you like someone that you were trying to make yourself a better person to
Mm.
to understand her, even though you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be
Actually
together
be
with
with
your,
them. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
but you worship them and then you trying to be as good as them. I
Mm-hmm.
think
And
like that show really like
oh,
changed this, and it actually liberated me in so many ways.
wow.
This show made me move from my last apartment because I was having finance struggle to pay the super high rent, but
Mm.
I have the obsession with the apartment because it's a beautiful apartment. Like I
Mm.
rather suffer with a less quality lifestyle than
Mm-hmm.
to, and that
Mm-hmm.
show made me like, you know what? Fuck this apartment. I want to treat myself better. I don't care
Mm.
living a different place.
Mm.
And yeah, highly recommended.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really great point about crushes too, because it's like a crush is like a lack of information essentially because you've like made it up in your head. So even when you're like worshiping them and you've created this like standard, that's still a projection of like your own potential. So you give yourself an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to see like, okay, I want to be able to like meet this person, but it's actually like just another version of yourself, not even that
Yeah.
person. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. True. I hope whoever's crushing on me is thinking about getting their money up before they ask me out. um, yeah, I'm so for like just having crushes and enjoying them and not like feeling like you have to confess your feelings or like turn it into a thing that it's not, because there are so many factors I think that go into like a healthy and sustainable relationship regardless of how long it lasts, but especially for women who don't prioritize like dating for marriage or like who have other priorities in their life. I think that can complicate your compatibility with a lot of men. So you need to choose
Yeah.
wisely. That's just a reality. But it's a price I'm willing to pay because I don't have to pick up anyone's socks. I don't have to ask anyone to pick up their socks.
Mm-hmm.
Life's great.
Yeah, really think like being alone benefit myself way more than just a minimum they can provide me as a company.
Mm,
And sexuality, which is like not my like desire at all.
yeah.
So I think someone can fulfill my emotional part is it's more important.
Yeah, I think like when you've taken a step back from like participating in like the dating scene or feeling like, oh, you need to like hook up with someone or else you're like not a woman or you're not desirable. Like when you've been able to decenter that as part of your like self-worth or like as an important part of being alive, you're just like, oh, like I'm actually having a better time than when I was thinking that I had to
Yeah.
like my desirability could only be validated through sex or something, but then when you realize that there's so many other ways to like self-validate, feel a sense of achievement through, for me personally, spinning up and down a pole or whatever the hell, or making an effort in other types of relationships, it's like That's actually such a
I
small
feel
part.
this kind of feeling is a similar of I no longer have FOMO.
Mm,
Like it's the same thing of like, oh, I'm out, I should stay late, but to be here, to be seen at I'm at this event. And now I'm like, I can literally go home now, and I can watch my TV in bed and have a better sleep, and I will wake up feel better next day.
mm.
Before I will literally like suffer at those like random boring afters just to be out and to be
Yeah.
cool. Now
Mm,
like I have no FOMO of any events
mm.
that like I think the same feeling of like, I have no FOMO for men.
Yeah.
I rather to have the time for myself. So FOMO upgraded.
Yes, yeah. Because I think also as a DJ, you realize like there's always going to be another party. Like even through the
Yeah, and
pandemic when
all
I
the party are
wasn't,
the same.
yeah, even through the pandemic when I
Yeah.
wasn't really DJing and I was like, wow, is the world ever going to party again? And it's like, yeah, there's so many parties and it's just like,
I even had a regular gigs online of a club quarantine. At the
mm.
one part, I'm like, this is too much. I'm playing more than real life. It's like I'm tired.
Yeah, right. Like
Yeah.
yeah, there's always going to be more parties and there's always going to be men. Like, even for me and the way that I present with people thinking like, oh, you're a man hater or like, oh, you're like, you must be so intimidating. I'm like, well, it's not working. Like, they're still in my
Hmm.
DMs. I'm still friends with them. I still work like, and not because like actually hate men at all, but it's like, even when you think you're repelling them, you can't. So
The way of how much we hating on my actually reflects on how much we want to love them though.
yeah, exactly. And how much
Yeah.
potential or how much you believe that they can do better or how
Yeah,
much
exactly.
you,
We're trying to convince ourselves, we analyze them so much, trying to understand why we want to love them.
yeah. Because for me, it's
Yeah.
also like I've been treated really well by men as well. So that's why I know that you can have standards and they can be met. Like
Yeah.
it's not an unrealistic thing. It's an unrealistic thing to a loser man, a man who
Yeah.
doesn't want to do
Yeah.
better. That's fine. Like you're not my target audience or whatever. So, but yeah, only because I've been treated well by men do I know that they can do better. And because men literally tell me, like half of the fucking information that I have on men is from men. If in fact most of it is from them. And they're telling me like, Amber, don't go for that guy. He's a loser. Or Amber, when guys do this, it means this, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I was so naive coming into this world especially because I like went to an all girls school when I was younger. So
Yeah.
I grew up in Barbie land. Like, girls can do anything, whatever you want to pursue. Like, one of the people in this class is probably going to be the Prime Minister of Australia. Like, that's how I was conditioned growing up. And then when I went
Hmm.
into university and started DJing, I was literally like, what the fuck is this? So yeah, like I don't know. So I feel like I've really had to like learn and like study men. It's not like I understand them
Yeah.
still after all these years, but they're the ones that are warning me. Okay. It's not like because a lot of the times it was women deluding each other, like, oh, you just have to try harder. You just have to leave your underwear at his house or like whatever the fuck,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
guys are like, give up. Okay, move on. Like you deserve better. And I'm like, okay. I don't know. I'm excited for
Yeah,
life
still,
regardless.
yeah. The standard I have for like being a partner, still my ex-husband, like how much he take care of me as, you know, and like
Mm,
he does house chore as like equally,
mm-hmm.
which like I never encounter anyone else meet that standard. So I
Mm,
still hold that accountable of like,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and now you've
Yeah, I
matured in different
agree.
ways too. So it's like
Yeah.
whatever you do next is going to be a better experience than. what you've had in the
Yeah,
past.
I'm excited. Like still having hope, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
I have this thing I wanted to ask you about the emoji reaction series because I talked about this with my girlfriends. Um, which one do you think is more amped down for you? So the heart eye or the fire emoji? My theory, heart eye is weird. Like heart eye is like a close friends only reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like even I have a guy friend react to me a hot selfie with a hot eyes and like he just appreciate it. But
Mm-hmm.
if he respond me a fire emoji, I'm like, ah, no. Like, what do you think?
I'm
You
gonna
know what I
put
mean?
this. I'm gonna put this in like the beginning of the podcast.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I've never thought about it.
Because I feel there's like some borderlining between different emoji reaction.
Yeah. Okay. I want people to weigh in and let me
Yeah.
know. Let us know. Like, do you think that someone is down bad? What's more down bad? The flame react or the heart eyes react? That's crazy. I've
Like
literally
what's the
never,
most common emoji response you got?
usually the laughing face react
No,
because I
no, no.
post.
For the guy, for the guy who respond your hot photo or like your dancing videos, like what do they
Okay,
respond?
guys don't really respond to dancing videos
Yeah.
anymore.
Mm.
But my guy friend says they probably want to, and they're just like trying to stop themselves so they don't look like a creep. And I'm like, cool, I don't care. Um,
Yeah.
hot pictures. I guess it's kind of split, like 50-50. Heart
Like
eyes.
for me, like to tell the difference, like if a random guy doesn't matter, like random
Uh-huh.
guy will respond like a flame or hot eye. I just know it's meant the same thing. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
there's like a slightly different if they are your friends
Right.
already
Mm-hmm.
and they respond hot emoji. I just think it's a genuine compliment. But if my close friend or whatever friend respond, a guy friend respond me flame, I'm like, what you doing? You know, like that's how I feel. And I chat with this with my friend. One
Uh-huh.
girl thinks it's the opposite, and then the others agree with me. So I was like, oh, I have this podcast coming. I'm gonna talk about this with the host.
Okay. I feel like the flame emoji is more like the DTF.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then, but the heart eye emoji is like they have a crush on you vibes, you know? Like,
Mm-hmm. But you feel more comfortable with the heart eye emoji than the flame one, right?
mm, not necessarily. Because sometimes I'm
No?
like, well, I just posted this picture because I look good. So you can just appreciate it for that. And then if you're going to make it like
Mm-hmm.
this whole other thing, like, oh, I'm like presenting this for you to look at so that you can like feel like that's not what it was for. I don't know. I've like never thought about this. I feel like my guy friends, they don't I think most men know better than to play that game with me. Like men that I like
Yeah.
actually know, like there are random guys that will send like a flame emoji or whatever, like you said, that's not important. Either my guy friends, yeah, I don't know. I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, but
I feel this is
that's a really good
probably so
question.
yeah. Or we just like into Lulu, like we over analyze for them just like whatever both emoji works,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. But I mean, Delulu or not Delulu, it's still a hot topic,
Yeah.
like it's still something to think about. No, really.
Because
Hmm.
my friend posted a photo of me holding two girls on my boob for a
Mm-hmm.
birthday picture,
Mm-hmm.
and then I reposted. So most of my good friend, guy friend, they responded a heart emoji, like the heart eye emoji, because it's
Mm-hmm.
like a beautiful photo, which I
Mm-hmm.
think a heart emoji is like normal. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's other guy who I don't like. We're still friends, but he's not in my close friend list. And he respond flame emoji, and I just feel like uncomfortable. Like, yeah. So I had a like, why the emoji even has a difference of
Connotation.
feelings?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I do want to touch on, if you have time, like being
Yeah.
friends with men, because I think that
Yeah.
that's an interesting topic too. Like, so you feel like you have like healthy friendships with dudes that, because this is something that I feel like I have been, mm, not maybe like discovering, or like just like being able to be friends with men instead of feeling like, I think when I was younger, a lot of the friendships I had with men had like a sexual undertone or overtone that they brought, because
Mm-hmm.
they would like flirt with me a lot. And I just thought that that was kind of like normal. And then basically, I'm not friends with any of those dudes anymore. And now I feel like my relationship with my own desirability or like confidence and myself and with men has changed a lot. So now I feel like I can, and also my environment, I think like Shanghai is a very different environment to Perth. So I feel like I can be friends with dudes in a healthier way, but I'm
But
interested
they
to know.
definitely still have the sexual desire eventually. They will
Mm,
express that definitely. So my experience of having, I have close friend as a man, because
mm,
we already had sex at the
mm-hmm,
beginning of our encounter. So that is like
mm,
checked. So
mm-hmm,
it would not come back to the table anymore, because we decided, let's just be friend. And
mm-hmm,
like, I think that just crossed over, like, I want to hook up with you, that just like out of the book, which like
mm.
make the friendship very pure.
Okay, I've had a
I find.
guy, I've had a male podcast guest who said the same thing about his friendships with women, is that they hooked up first and then they're friends, or like he's friends with his exes because that like, well, they don't want to date again. So that's why they can be friends. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I find like, even like, I had a sleepover at my guy friend's place, even share same bed. Like, they wouldn't even try to, make out, or I wouldn't even like feel unsafe or anything. I think just
Mm,
like, once you're mentally checked that box for me, and I guess for them too, like, it's just like,
mm,
we are not an object to each other anymore, which I find like this like
mm,
can make friendship work better. But
mm,
also, but if you become friend with this guy first, it happened to me, and we
mm,
thought we're just like friends, and then one day he like suddenly kissed me,
mm,
and I didn't know how to react, so I just went to get water, just make a pause of make him to think about this again,
mm,
and then he's like, oh yeah, I have to go, and then it's become weird now,
mm, mm,
So I find that you need only working way for me to
mm,
reflect on my friendship. Now I can see all the close guy friend that I am with now. We all had sex before, like very beginning,
mm. Okay.
only at the very beginning. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I would say like the opposite of having sex at the beginning would be just maintaining like distance in the friendship. So you don't get so close, or you don't get so familiar that there is this breeding ground for
Yeah.
those feelings, because like if you, like, you can speak on a regular basis for a bit, but then you have to have time apart. Otherwise, if you keep this like energy exchange, it's like it's like you can't help, or the chances of someone catching feelings is much higher. But if you don't allow it to get to a point where you become like too codependent on each other, or too emotionally intimate, then that's kind of how I would manage if I hadn't already slept with them and we'd tick that box, you know?
Okay. But for me, once I decided I no longer desire you, it's just like some like a switch in my brain, just like that, just
Mm,
off.
mm,
But also the second part of how you can make sure like you would not want to have sex with them anymore is
mm-hmm.
because once you guys just become friends, the guys will tell you some
Yeah.
stupid shit they did, and they will come for you for like therapy session to tell
Mm-hmm.
you their feelings about something.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually have to be there as a friend, and you be like, whoa, like, okay, you are fucked up. So gladly we are just friends, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like the stuff you know about them after they trusting you, they don't have to put on a
Pretend.
potential, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, then that just make it impossible for you to continue have a romantic thought on them,
Yeah, yeah.
which is a good thing.
That was my delusion when I was younger. I thought like, oh, like they're confiding in me about like the things that they're going through in their relationship. So that means that they're self-aware and like maybe they wouldn't do that to me. I was wrong.
Yeah, I would just say they're also a weird diamond, like a power feeling to me is when my guy friend get into relationship and
Mm,
I kind of had to be introduced as the best friend, and that
mm,
kind of like change things a bit. Like I
mm-hmm.
will respectfully hang out with him less
Yeah.
to be distanced as like an as a good friend.
Mm,
But I do have a friend like constantly bring me up that bothers their partner. And I
mm,
also had the experience of the guy friend had to eventually block me for a long
mm.
time when they're in the relationship, which is like their girlfriend made them to do.
Wow.
Yeah, so these are the like downsides to be good friend with guys, even though like I didn't do anything wrong. It's the insecurity from their partner. But like
Mm.
I don't want to be involved to prove like, hey, listen, we just friend, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
no statement you can do. So
Yeah.
that's a
And
side note.
interesting. Yeah, I guess like I wouldn't exactly I wouldn't say that there's that many men in like my inner circle. I feel like I can just manage like this like friendly acquaintance, like broy vibe, but it's not like, oh, we talk all the time and I'm like deeply involved in their life, which I like because otherwise I may as well just have a boyfriend. And also I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a man's idea of emotional intimacy is very different to a woman's. Like women to women relationship, you know, there's so much more vulnerability and like space that we have for each other. But a guy, his intimacy capacity in general is going to be smaller than a woman's most of the time. And then in his friendships, like you have like, I mean, at least in my experience, it's like I have like one deep conversation with a guy and he'll be like telling people that we're besties, like that's my girl, that's my homie. I'm like, you're just like some guy that I had a conversation with like 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
So I think before I used to expect or think that I had to create the same dynamic that I had with my girlfriends with a guy friend in order for them to be a friend. But I realized that you kind of just treat them as two different relationship categories. Like this is my relationship with a female friend, and this is the type of relationship I have with a male friend. Unless he's gay. That's a different thing.
Yeah, that's a different thing. But I did had a conversation with like my closest friend. He is a guy,
Mm,
and he was in the dating phrase, and then he literally said like, "I don't need a girlfriend right now. I provide him the emotional needs, and then he just
mm,
go hook up with other girls that fit his like sexual desire. So
mm-hmm,
like he can find both just
mm-hmm.
not necessarily having a girlfriend. I think that was like some hurtful thing
Mm,
to say to me. But then
mm,
I realized I also have like when I need a favor, I will ask him first because I know he will not say no to me. So I
mm,
think this is a kind of beneficial for both sides. I provide
mm-hmm,
him emotional support and
mm-hmm,
he just be my Uber driver. You know, when
mm-hmm,
I need to go somewhere, I will definitely call him to drive me around. So,
mm.
this is also like when I move, I will not call my girlfriends, guys, come help me move. Like I will definitely only hitting up my guy friends like I
Yeah.
need help. Yeah.
Yeah. I think also recognizing through your like friendships with men, like the different value that men and women or like a masculine versus feminine energy brings to a relationship. And it's not necessarily that like because you are able to handle like the emotional side that he has to be able to do that too. Like your
Mm-hmm.
the way that you guys mutually benefit from this friendship, not in like a transact. I mean, like, because my approach is like everything is transactional, basically. But is it
Mm-hmm.
win-win or
Yeah.
is it win-lose? And if it's win-win, then that's like a healthy relationship. And it's not
Yeah.
about like material benefit. It's like, are you exchanging energy in a way that makes you both feel like you're hot and having fun, or like you're better with each other than by yourself, and like you're not together and it being worse than not together, right? So like the
Yeah.
exchange is you're able to be there for him and help him manage his emotions, and he's able to help you in more practical ways, and then you're both able to benefit. It's a mutually beneficial friendship, and you guys like enjoy each other's presence, and it feels healthy, and it's not like weird. So win-win, right? But it's, I think sometimes people
Yeah.
think like it has to be like, well, I give you this, so you have to give me that too. But that's
Mm-hmm.
not how relationships work, right?
Yeah, but I think even we say this, but mentally we kind of like stay counted. I kind of diss the friend because I feel like I invested too much and I didn't get equally emotional support back.
Mm,
And I was always there for them when they needed, and then when I wanted some support, they say they tried, but they couldn't make it for me. Like I give you
mm,
three chances, and then you fail to meet every time, and I was like, I will stop putting effort in
mm.
this friendship because it's
Yeah,
not equal.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like so much more complicated than
Yeah,
we.
but it's with a girlfriend of this thing, like in I counted eventually trying to make myself like and to not be as sad of losing a friend. So I
Mm,
trying to do this like you did this, I did this to make a list of if I should
mm.
still be friend with this person.
Mm,
Yeah. But with the guy friend, I think I can hang out with my girl days. Like we can just be in same space, talk,
mm,
hang out for like a whole weekend. I will not be tired of them. But with
mm,
my guy friend, I have limits.
mm, mm, mm.
Like I had a driving trip with this friend I just told you about. We were in the car together for 12 hours. I think I wanted to kill myself. And yeah, I had to reevaluate our our friendship because I was had enough, and I have to educate him like it's okay that we don't have to talk. He has and then we review to his trauma as like his mom was bipolar, so he had to be a joyful kid for his mom as a kid. Like
Mm,
I help him discover why he need to constantly talk to fulfill the blank of the conversation. Then
mhm.
I taught him like if we're comfortable together, it's nice to have each other's company. We don't actually have to talk all the
Speak.
time.
Yeah.
Just we can, yeah, we listen to the music in silent, looking at the view. It's okay. It's not like I don't want to have a conversation with you. It's just like there's not as much at the moment to talk about. You are driving me crazy. It would be like, oh, they have dogs here. Like we're driving on the highway and he saw a dog and he just like, oh look, there's a dog here. I'm like, there are dog everywhere. Like just yeah,
Oh.
but I love the part like when you have a little bit like anger towards each other and you have a deep conversation of like emotional exchange, like you make me feel like this and that. It's kind of like in a relationship, it will
Mm.
make your friendship goes better though.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm. Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Seven, and
Thank you for
sharing your
having me.
story.
That was a really nice conversation. Thank you. I learned a lot from
Yay.
you.
Likewise. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Make sure to subscribe and follow me, and I'll leave Seven's social links in the show notes. Stay hot and having fun. Send me your thoughts and feelings on the show, and drink lots of water. Tell your friends and family you love them. Go be a better person. Love you.
Bye bye.
Bye.